Email has become a very standard business tool globally, and even with the real invention and real usage of WhatsApps and the messengers, which is really used for personal messaging and personal chatting, email still remains the backbone of productivity, enterprise productivity, and corporate communication.
That's
And
right.
it's secure, it's more secure, it is, it's more collaborative. And I think email is here to stay. Email is not going anywhere. And, innovations will happen around it to make it more easier, more productive, but email is here to stay.
Even is here to stay at 14. You must have been quite a maverick to think about it.
Well, yeah, but email is really a product of India. At the time I was actually an Indian, I was an Indian citizen, and it was created, as Arvind referred, to solve a business problem, not a military problem, but a business problem. In those days, you had a secretary who was trying to do this thing called the interoffice mail, to,
That's right.
from, subject, CC, inbox, outbox, and that entire system is what that 14-year-old Indian boy converted to the electronic version, and he called it email. But the conditions in which I did the email were in an environment where I was allowed to innovate, but it was the impetus of India which motivated me to create something like this. So it's really an Indian innovation.
As a 14-year-old, you did innovate to create the email. After being in the Valley for all of these years, do you believe India has the right atmosphere to innovate now? And why is innovation so crucial and just so focal to things right now?
Well, look, India has been innovating for 5,000 years. India has a rich history of innovation. During colonialism, we had a little bit of a hiccup, but the fact is we have an amazing Prime Minister now in office who's redefining our national identity and is creating the conditions where it's inspiring people to innovate. So I think India is poised not only to innovate, but innovate things that are going to bind East and West. So there's some amazing innovations in India, which we as the Indian diaspora and Indians are going to be able to bring in such a way that the world has yet to see. So it's going to really completely power world innovation, what India is going to see. So I think we're going to be pretty amazed what's going to come out in the next few years.
Arvind, do you agree with that? The fact that innovation is really key to success in a globalized world that we live in, and if not, then you perish?
Yeah, and actually, I think countries like Israel have shown that when you're pushed to, solving problems that countries like Israel, let's say, had, and they've innovated globally, and products coming out of Israel have been used in all spaces, whether it's agriculture, finance, technology, security, defense. I think India is at a stage where it has the talent, it has the gene pool right now, it has the branding led by the Prime Minister himself, and it has a culture of innovation. It just needs to make it a very systemic process of innovation, institutionalize the innovation so that there's a knowledge system in the country for innovation and there's recognition for innovation. We need to create the superstars, the role models for innovation so that people can follow these role models for innovation and then, really champion innovation throughout India.
I like the term that you use, institutionalize innovation, and that's the only way to breed this. Before I let the two of you go, Shiva, very quickly, I want to ask you, which areas do you think India needs innovation in? Which are the specific verticals, which are the specific areas that you think we need innovation? Israel did innovate, but they innovated a lot in their defense, and look at where they are as far as the rest of the world is concerned. But as far as India is concerned, and given our huge divide in terms of which needs to be bridged at a societal level, where do you think the innovation needs to be?
Well, I think India has many different areas, but one of the areas that I think is particular is in the area of health. And I think that's a particular area where India can not only solve many problems locally for India, but also create innovations for the world. So you think about it, yoga came out of India. Now yoga is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's right.
You cannot walk down any street in the United States and not see a yoga studio. So India has many other amazing innovations from our how we did agriculture, how we did medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha, and I think the fact that if we can go back to our roots, combine the Western entrepreneurialism that we've learned, bring those together, I mean, it's going to be mind-blowing what India is going to be able to bring to the world. Not only to solve health problems in India, so we simply don't bring in Western solutions, but we bring in truly indigenous solutions and change the world. So I think health is going to be a very, very powerful area for India to contribute as well as solve problems locally.
Arvind, if I may give you the last word on this, indigenous innovation is what we need. Would you agree with this?
Yeah, and there are problems that many countries don't face, which India faces. Education, health, and Dr. Shiva mentioned, agri, financial inclusion, cybersecurity. And these are areas which are, probably very important to India and countries like India. So countries want to emulate what path India shows them, and India has to lead in the way. Prime Minister has already called for India to be the next hub, for example, for cybersecurity, for agriculture informatics, for big data, for smart cities. And these are problems very local to India. So India will have to use this indigenous innovation, solving problems which are very local to India, learning from the best in the world and using the best talent, Indian or otherwise. But Indian talent is everywhere and solving problems at scale. So I think we need to use that talent to solve some problems that we have in India.
We have exported some of the best tech talent to the world, and it is time we indigenize innovation and begin using it for our local issues and solving them.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.